Alabama is going to the national championship game. What's going on? It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. Alabama 24, Clemson 6 in the 2018 Sugar Bowl. Thanks for joining us on the program. Hope you have a safe trip back to wherever you're going. And Alabama starts out the new year with a big-time win over number 1 Clemson. Going to walk you through the scoring summary. Then I'm going to pipe in Nick Saban's audio from the press conference. But let's start out with the scoring summary, and then we'll highlight a couple other key stats from the game. Alabama jumped up 3-0 on Clemson after Andy Papanas's 24-yard field goal with 5:23 in the game. Alabama then went up 10-0 with 12 seconds left in the first quarter when Jalen Hurts found Calvin Ridley for a 12-yard pass to put Alabama up 10-0 entering the second quarter. Clemson then hit a 44-yard field goal by Alex Spence, which made it 10-3 in the second quarter. In the third quarter, Clemson kicked another field goal, this time from 42 yards out. The score was 10-6 at this point. In the third quarter, Alabama's Daron Payne, who just a few plays before had made an interception off of Anthony Jennings' tip pass, then caught a touchdown pass, if you can believe that. The big man caught a touchdown pass from Jalen Hurts. That was a 1-yard score to put Alabama up 17-6, and it seemed like that was really the backbreaker of this game. And then a few plays later, Mack Wilson put the nail in the coffin with an 18-yard interception return, which made it 24-6. The defense, came through big. And, as they say about defense, defense wins championships. And, tonight Alabama held Clemson to a total of 188 yards. And, in fact, during the first quarter, Clemson actually had -7 yards of offense, if you can believe that. Alabama held Kelly Bryant, Clemson's quarterback, to 18 of 36 on the night with 2 interceptions, 124 yards, and he was sacked 5 times. I mean, Alabama's defense, I haven't seen them play like that all year. I mean, that was a phenomenal performance by the entire defense. I thought they did a fantastic job, and credit to Jeremy Pruitt. I mean, even Saban said it during his post-game presser, which you'll hear here in a little bit, that they did a fantastic job game planning for Clemson. And, this trilogy is now 2-1 in favor of Alabama. And I thought it was interesting after the game when Dabo Swinney said, well, this trilogy is going to continue. And he said that Alabama and Clemson will meet many times more, which I agree with. I mean, Clemson's clearly a program that has arrived, and Alabama, I feel, made a big-time statement. And I feel that Nick Saban made a big-time statement. This program is here to stay. They're still king of the mountain. And this win tonight, Nick Saban said in the post-game presser, it was personal. This was the team that ended Alabama's season last year and stopped them from winning a national championship. So I think it's been on the back of their mind for a long time. And Alabama gets the big victory tonight, 24-6. They will now take on Georgia, 2 teams from the SEC matching up in the national title game. That game will be next Monday in Atlanta, Georgia. We'll have coverage throughout the week on BamaInsider.com. I thought Damian Harris did a fantastic job for Alabama tonight, and I was really, really pleased to see him get 19 carries, finish with 79 total yards. Didn't score a touchdown, but he averaged 4.1 yards a pop against a very outstanding Clemson defensive front. Jalen Hurts had 11 carries for 40 yards, and Bo Scarborough, who I don't know if Clemson just did a good job bottling him up, or he just kind of didn't have that second gear. 12 carries tonight for just 24 yards, average of 2 yards per carry. Jalen Hurts, Alabama's quarterback, 16 for 24 tonight, 120 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 to Daron Payne and 1 to Calvin Ridley. He was sacked twice. Calvin Ridley, no surprise, leads Alabama in receiving, 4 receptions, 39 yards with that touchdown. J.K. Scott did a great job. He's very – the kid is clutch every single game. 6 punts tonight for 213 yards inside the 23 times. Game of possession in a big-time game like this. The defensive side of the football, I thought, as I said earlier, the entire defense played lights out. Rashaan Evans had 9 total tackles. I'm sorry, he had 7 total tackles and 1 sack. Levi Wallace had 6 tackles. Did a great job tonight. And then Mac Wilson, he had 5 total tackles, and he had that interception, which he did return for a touchdown. Alabama, I think they could improve on offense, and we saw Nick Saban get on Brian Daboll, there in that second half. And a reporter asked why Nick Saban got on Brian Daboll, and he said simply, I felt that we should have kept the ball on the ground and made that game shorter instead of passing it. And I think everybody, saw that when Alabama was leading by 18 points. So Brian's obviously going to take it like a man, and we'll see what he does against Georgia next week. I think this being his first year, you're going to have those type of growing pains, but I'm kind of surprised to see it at the end of the year. I'm sure they'll hash it out and put things together and get ready for a very good Georgia team who I think, honestly, Alabama matches up great with. 5 Dimes already came out that Alabama is a 4.5-point favorite. Of course, that means nothing, but I felt that if Alabama was to take on Oklahoma, just with Oklahoma's potent offense, that game, might not bode well for Alabama. Not to say that Alabama would get smoked by Oklahoma. I just think matchup-wise, I think Alabama's built to stop a quality Georgia team. And this game is going to have so many storylines with Alabama and Georgia, being that Kirby Smart used to coach under Nick Saban, and you know how it goes with Alabama versus assistant coaches. Usually Nick Saban has the upper hand, but this Georgia program is certainly on the rise, and they've done a fantastic job, and they got some of the best players in the entire nation on both sides of the football. And, it's going to be a great coaching matchup between Nick Saban and Kirby Smart. So we'll continue to have coverage on that throughout the week on BamaInsider.com. But I'm going to play Nick Saban's press conference. Included in the postgame audio is Jalen Hurts and Daron Payne. Jalen Hurts was the offensive MVP. Daron Payne, of course, a defensive MVP. So we'll catch you soon on BamaInsider.com. Be safe traveling back to where you're going, and you can find all the coverage, all the videos, everything you're looking for on BamaInsider.com. Here's Nick Saban's postgame press conference.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank all the Sugar Bowl committee and all the people who's really provided tremendous hospitality for us all week. This is one of the smoothest bowl trips I think we've ever had. City of New Orleans was fantastic, and we just like to thank everybody who contributed. I know how hard you all worked to put this event on, and it certainly was first class. Also very, very proud of our team. I think this game was about sort of our identity as a team, and I don't think that anybody could question the relentless competitive attitude that we played with, warrior-like mentality out there, and it's certainly what we needed. There's things that we could have obviously done better, but I'm really proud of the way our guys competed in the game, and I think that was the difference in the game. Toughness that we played with, the effort that we played with. We were able to affect their quarterback, stop the run, got off the field early in the game on 3rd down quite a bit. We played the kind of game we wanted to play on offense. We wanted to run the ball, and 2-yard run wasn't a bad run because we didn't want to get in a lot of 3rd and long situations, and we did a good job of keeping the ball in the game and scored when we had the opportunities to score. So, this is something that I'm really, really pleased and happy for our players. They really worked hard for this game, and they certainly had the right mental attitude about getting after it in this game. And it was a little bit personal, I think, for us after what happened to us in this game last year. Really, really pleased for our players.
Go ahead and open up the floor for questions. Right in the center.
Hey, Coach. Steve Moulton, 97.7 The Zone. I was hoping you could comment on the game that Anthony Jennings had for you, and is there any update on his injury?
He had a fantastic game. I think everybody was responsible for this victory because everybody took ownership for it. Everybody took ownership for their role, whether it was a kickoff cover team or the defense. But Anthony Jennings certainly played an outstanding game. He has a sprained knee. We don't know what his status will be for the next game.
Over on the left-hand side.
Christopher Walsh, SEC Country. Duran, someone asked you this week if you were lobbying to catch a pass. Did they listen to you?
Yeah, I think they listened to me. I had been talking to Coach Locks about it, and he said just keep on working, you might get it. And I just tried to do my best to go out and practice and work hard, and they finally gave it to me.
When he made the interception, there was no doubt that we were going to throw him the ball on the goal line.
Further questions? Over on the right-hand side.
Sheldon Haygood, WBRC TV out of Birmingham. Duran, the catch is one thing, but the footwork to keep your feet in, that was just as impressive. Talk a little bit about that and how that play unfolded for you, really.
Jalen, all week Jalen was telling me if he throw it to me, I better catch it, so I tried to make sure I caught the ball.
Next in the center of the room.
Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports. This is for both Jalen and Duran. Your coach just said that this is personal. Can you both describe what this has been like, whether it's the last year or the last month, people questioning Alabama and saying that maybe the time of the dynasty was coming to an end?
I think we definitely heard the word, but we just did a good job of just focusing in on the team and just executing everything Coach wanted us to do, and just locking in and just being all about the team and just keeping the distractions outside.
Well, I think as a team we had a mentality that you don't remember the wins, you remember the losses. And I think we never forgot what happened, but we wanted to take it in as a learning experience. We wanted to learn from it, and we had the opportunity to do that today and display it, and we overcame it, and we got them. So we move on to the national championship game.
We'll move to the right-hand side towards the back.
Nick, could you talk about the way the defense kind of controlled the game from the early 3-and-outs, the turnovers kind of down the stretch?
Well, I think we had a really, really good plan against them, and I think Jeremy Pruitt deserves a lot of credit for that. I think the players really did a good job of executing the plan. They throw a lot of formations, a lot of shifts, and a lot of motions, and we adjusted well, didn't make a lot of mental errors in the game, made the right calls on some of their running plays. It's difficult when you have a quarterback that is as good a runner as Kelly Bryant, because you're really playing against Wildcat-type running back every down, but the guy is capable as a passer, and they have really good skill guys. So this was a great team effort by our entire defense. The front guys did a good job of controlling the line of scrimmage. The linebackers did a great job of adjusting. The secondary guys did a pretty good job of covering all day. So this was really a great team effort, and the guys played about as hard as any of our defensive teams that I can ever remember in this particular game.
Again, towards the center of the room.
Nicole Auerbach, The Athletic. Nick, you mentioned on the field that you're proud of Kirby and the program he's built at Georgia. When you have assistants who then go out and become head coaches, what is something that he had that you thought, this is going to work and he's going to be able to get things going at Georgia?
Well, I think that when people are in a position of responsibility, which Kirby was our defensive coordinator for a long time, and if you look at the track record of what he was responsible for and the success that he had, the good defensive teams that we had good players, but we always did a great job of coaching those players, always put together good plans for them to be able to go out there and execute. So it's no surprise to me that his role expanded to be a head coach, but his leadership and hard work, he's a good football coach, very bright guy, and he took over a program that has been successful and was actually fairly successful when he took over the program, and he's done a great job of taking it to the next level.
We'll stay in the center of the room.
Coach, the cameras were focused on you in the second half, conveying a message to your offensive coordinator. I was wondering what you were saying to Coach Dable.
You couldn't tell? Well, I wanted to take the air out of the ball and run the ball and shrink the clock and shrink the game, and we threw a couple passes back to back, and they turned out to be negative plays. So, I guess I was being a bit of a fan. The fans always, if it works, it's a good play, and if it doesn't work, it's a bad play. So I was being a bit of a fan. But I thought in that situation in the game, we should have tried to take the air out of it and run the ball and shrink the game, especially being up 18 points.
Over on our left-hand side.
Jalen, some of your offensive linemen said they kind of got sick of hearing about Clemson's front four. Did you see a big difference with them?
Did y'all see a difference? They did a good job. We're happy for them. We worked really hard this week, and all credit goes to those guys up front. And that's where it starts and that's where it ends.
But I tell you what, our offensive line did a really good job because I think they got 2 first-round guys that are seniors this year. Lawrence is his first-round guy next year for sure. So they were playing some really good players and did a really good job.
Further questions for the players? Or Coach?
This is for Duran, Brett Martell with AP. Could you just give us a sense of what it felt like out there to be swarming the way you were around Kelly Bryant and, you know, making him so uncomfortable and really limiting him to probably his worst game all year?
During the week, Coach put emphasis on just being destructive in our pass rushing and just keeping our pass rush lanes and just making sure we get after him. And I think we did a good job of locking in during practice and just getting after him as a whole defense.
Further questions? We'll go to the center of the room. If we could get a microphone over there. Thank you.
Nick, this is it's all SEC matchup, obviously. What does it say about the strength of the SEC, and do you think having 2 teams from the same conference in the title game is good for college football?
Well, we were fortunate several years ago to play LSU right here in the same kind of circumstance, in the same kind of situation. I think speaks volumes of the quality of programs that we have, especially to have two programs, 2 teams that are in the national championship game. And I think sometimes people try to, you know, put a little hate on the SEC because of some of the success that we have, and I don't think that's really fair because I think it's a great competitive league with a lot of great coaches and a lot of great institutions, and I've always thought it was one of the best competitive venues to be involved in my time at LSU and also at Alabama. So we really enjoy it here, and it's been a lot of fun and a lot of great competition, and this next game will be, you know, you don't get these opportunities often. We've been fortunate to have a few, and I just want to help these players finish the season to the best way that we can.
Further questions for Coach or the players? Any further questions? One more.
For Duran again, it looked like you had an open field move on the running back on your interception. It's quite a spectacle to see a guy like you running down the field 21 yards. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, man, I was just I was kind of shocked I had the ball in my hand. I was just trying to get to the end zone.
Gentlemen, we thank you for your time and congratulations.
Hey, thank you. I really appreciate what the press does for the positive self-gratification you give a lot of our players, and I know it's important to them, and we certainly appreciate it. Thank you.